You're about to hear 3 true stories. Stories that don't need ghosts or monsters to make your skin crawl. They come straight from everyday life involving imposters' eyes in the dark, and a knock at the door when no one should be there. If you think your home is the safest place on earth, you may want to think again. These are 3 terrifying true stories, and they could happen to anyone. Story 1. The fake cop in the woods. There's one thing people forget about the woods. Not everything out there walks on 4 legs. Sometimes, what's watching you knows how to knock. When my girlfriend Rose and I decided to spend the weekend at my family's cabin in Quincy, I thought it'd just be a peaceful getaway. No city noise, no chaos, just pine trees, silence, and us. I'd been to that cabin dozens of times growing up. Never once felt unsafe. It was a crisp October evening, cool air, golden leaves. We arrived just after sunset, unpacked, and got into the hot tub on the porch with glasses of wine. Everything was perfect, until we heard footsteps, crunching leaves, slow, deliberate. Someone was trying to move quietly. I looked around, saw nothing but darkness. I assumed it was wildlife, maybe a bear. I pulled Rose inside and locked the door. We turned off every light inside and out. From the darkness of the living room, I peeked through the curtains. That's when I saw him. A man. Human. Circling the side of the house. Not a bear. Not someone lost. A person. I rushed to lock the back door and pulled every curtain tight. Rose was frozen in fear. We didn't speak. The only sounds were the ticking clock and wind in the trees. Then, 3 knocks. Loud. Sharp. A man's voice called out police. We received a report of a break-in. Open the door, sir. I froze. No one knew we were here. There were no neighbors nearby. No one to call the cops. I didn't open the door. I said I need to verify who you are. A pause. Then, we received a report. Open up, sir. I peeked through the curtain. No patrol car. No flashing lights. Just a man in a hat standing with his back to the door. I turned to Rose. There's no car. That's not a cop. Another knock. I shouted, I don't see a cruiser. If you're really police, get your supervisor. Silence. Then, I heard breathing from the crack under the door, like he was pressing his face to it. Then footsteps, heading around back. I sprinted to the rear door, double-locked it. I had no gun, only an old kitchen knife and my mom's half-empty pepper spray. Rose and I sat on the floor, in darkness. Every sound outside was like a drumbeat in my chest. Then, silence. 10 minutes later, I peeked through a small kitchen window. Nothing. But I saw footprints in the mud leading toward the forest. We didn't sleep. At sunrise, I called the actual police. They confirmed no officers were dispatched last night. No calls were made. No patrols in the area. So who was that? We left that morning, and I haven't been back to that cabin alone since. Because now I know in the woods, not everything knocking on your door comes in peace. Story 2. The light behind the rearview mirror. Some people aren't real cops, but they dress like them, talk like them, flash red lights like them. The only difference, they don't want you to ever leave your car. That night I was driving alone through suburban Colorado, twisting mountain roads, no cars, no lights. It was just past 1 a.m. I was heading back to my hotel after visiting a friend. I hadn't been drinking, wasn't tired. I definitely wasn't speeding. Then red and white lights in my mirror, a black SUV. No license plate light, no blue lights, just pulsing red and white. I pulled over, turned on my hazards. A man stepped out, all black clothes, tactical vest, a shiny badge, but no police anywhere. He walked to my window, License and registration. His voice was flat, cold. I asked, "What department are you with?" "There's no markings on your vehicle." He didn't answer, just repeated his demand louder. Something felt off. I asked again, "Badge number, ID, anything?" He snapped, "You don't have the right to ask that. Get out of the car." I didn't move. "Not without proof you're a cop." He banged on my window, hard. "Get out, now." I locked the doors, shifted into drive. He hit the glass again, reached behind him like for a weapon. I floored it. My tires screeched as I tore down the road. In the mirror, I saw his lights still chasing me. I called 911. The dispatcher listened, then paused. "We have no units in that area right now. Drive to the nearest police station immediately." I veered onto the road to Winter Park Police. As I neared the junction, his lights shut off. He turned down a side road. Gone. At the station, I gave a full report. Description: behavior, fake uniform. They documented it as a suspected police impersonator. And that night, I realized something chilling. If I had stepped out of that car, I might have been a name on the morning news. Because not every flashing light is a rescue, especially when it doesn't glow blue. Story 3. The fake 911 call. Have you ever wondered if the person knocking at your door late at night already knows you're alone, that he doesn't need to break in, because you'll unlock it yourself? When you hear the words, "police." My name's George. I'm 29. Live alone in rural Michigan. Bought a small cabin remote surrounded by trees. No neighbors. No security cameras. I went there every weekend to escape city pressure. That Friday night, I was heating up leftovers with the TV on. Light rain outside. Silent. Then a knock. I checked the clock, 11 p.m. No one should be here. I walked to the door, called out, "Who is it?" No response. I backed up, heart pounding, shouted, "I have a gun. Don't try anything stupid." I didn't. But it was all I could think to say. The knocking stopped. Then my phone lit up. Incoming call. 911 emergency services. I froze. A man's voice. "Hello. This is the police. We're outside responding to a disturbance. Please open the door." I asked, "If you're really police, step in front of the window." A pause. Then, "We can't. Please cooperate." I hung up. The same number called again. I didn't answer. Instead, I dialed 911 myself. The dispatcher confirmed, "No units have been sent to your address." Seconds later, crash. From the back door. Someone was trying to break in. I dropped the phone, ran to the nearest window, and I saw them. 2 figures, wearing sackcloth masks, crude holes cut for eyes and mouths. One was picking the lock, the other pounding the wall with a metal rod. I screamed, "I've called the cops. Leave now or I shoot." I didn't have a weapon, but they didn't know that. They ran, melted into the woods. 7 minutes later, the real cops arrived. They found footprints, tool marks, and a piece of paper by the fence with crude handwriting. One officer asked, "Anyone visit earlier today?" I remembered. At 5 p.m., a man had come by offering security systems. Polite, friendly. He asked if I lived alone. I said yes. Since then, I've installed cameras, alarms, smart locks, and I've never told a stranger I live alone again. Because sometimes, the words you think are harmless are an invitation. 3 stories, 3 real-life nightmares. The world isn't short on people willing to lie to disguise and to watch you from the shadows, just waiting for a single mistake. You can lock doors, you can install cameras, but sometimes the only thing that saves you is your instinct. Always trust it. Because in the dark, you don't always get a second chance. Thanks for watching. If you want more terrifying real stories like these, like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And tonight, if someone knocks at your door after midnight, don't answer.